ಎಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ ಸುಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ವೀಕ್ಷಕರಿಗೆ ಶುಭೋದಯ ಹಾಗೂ ಸುಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಶಿವಶಕ್ತಿ ಕಲಾ ಕೇಂದ್ರದ ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಸ್ಟುಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ 9 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಇದೆ. Now I will switch on to English explanation because so many are awaiting to know what exactly the scientific, the Hindu marriage scientific analysis. The main part, that is Mahasanchike's number is 1863, and the part 3 of this subject, that is the Hindu marriage. This is the third part of this ongoing session. In the previous session, the signature tune I have played. Even for that you may question Bhaudi, that is the morning raga. Because we say when we meet a person at first time, we say good morning. So really let there be a good morning for everybody. Immediately in this session, that is in 1863 part 3, I have used one more morning raga which is called Malaya Maruta, because the waves we get it in the morning will be very, very congenial, and because the oxygen level of the air is much, much fresh and gives an enthusiasm. The Prakriti, the mother nature, is in such a way designed. Even for that marriage, we do it with Mangala Snanam. Morning itself, because we have to cleanse. Always, everybody knows cleanliness is next to godliness. With this introduction, let me read what has been written by Mr. Rao in this book, The Hindu Marriage. Continuing from previous session, Professor B.V. Raman, the famous astrologer, defines Muhurta. Thus, quote, Muhurta could be therefore be defined as that precious moment when the vibrations discharged by a man are altered to a specific wave length capable of entering resonance with radiations of the same vibratory rate coming from the other planets and stars. Thus, each moment has its potency. Our Maharshis had known this by their Divya Drishti, a divine sight, and have laid down certain norms to calculate this and find out auspicious moment or muhurta. It is from this muhurta or auspicious moment that regular rituals of the marriage begin. The first meeting of Nirikshana or bride and bridegroom takes place at this propitious time. One may ask that the bride and the bridegroom have met already many times before this muhurta. Some of these couples have even moved together. Then, where is the sanctity for this muhurta and the first meeting? One should know that though the boy and the girl have met any number of times earlier, and even though they have moved together, they have done so only as lovers and not as husband and wife. It's only at this auspicious moment that they see one another as wife and husband. Psychologically, this is very important. If before the marriage, the bridegroom makes any advances towards the bride, she will certainly not allow such advances, provided she has moral fear. Even the parents do not allow such things. This one should bear in mind. Muhurta gives them legal sanction for this. Hence, this is very, very important. At the time of Nirikshana or seeing each other, the following Muhurta, which is called out from Yajurveda, one of the 4 Vedas, is to be chanted. Soma Pratamo Vividhe Gandharva Vividhota Amala. Like this. The first meaning is the first husband of the bride is Chandra, moon. The second is Gandharva. The third is Agni, that is god of fire. And the fourth is man. This means the person whom the bride is marrying, the fourth husband, while she has already wedded to moon, Gandharva and Agni. On the face of it, this looks very silly and revolting, but the inner meaning is separate. The human body is made of Panchabhuta or 5 elements, namely earth, fire, air, water and Akasha. These 5 elements differ from person to person. This is law of nature. One of the elements may be more or less in a particular person. This difference in the Panchabhutas or 5 elements of one person will have everlasting effect on the other person of a different quality of the elements. That is to say, the 5 elements of the bride and the 5 elements of the bridegroom should be such that there should be harmony in the future life of the couple. Therefore, when the bride and the bridegroom see each other at a particular muhurta or time fixed beforehand, the physical forces at that time, that is our muhurta, will be such that the 5 elements in both the bride and the bridegroom become compatible. Here, moon represents mind, Akasha. Water and air, 3 elements. Gandharva represents earthly sign, while Agni represents fire. As soon as the bride and the bridegroom see each other at a particular time or muhurta when the cosmic rays of the planets and nakshatras are concentrated, there will be electromagnetic activity through eyes. Repeat, there will be electromagnetic activity through eyes. This may look strange to an ordinary person. He may ask, what electromagnetic activity has to do with eyes? Let us see what the experts say. Before I quote that, I wanted to show a line drawing graphics which has been printed in this book. Madam Savitri, will you please focus it on? This is what exactly the nirikshana that is called, we call it as antarpata. People who have attended this type of Hindu marriage might have observed how beautifully in the old book they have a graphic. You know, we have got a LED graphic and so many things, but in this book, with this explanation, I think you could ponder over it, this one. Okay? Let me pursue further. Dr. Bones Sokolov, MD. Anything? Okay. Just focusing further. Does not matter. I'll wait for that. Because even a single word should not be missed to our highly learned viewers, you know. After seeing this antarpata, how the bridegroom is just putting rice on the head of bride. That is, and two purohits, they have held one antarpata. Now, let me quote Dr. Bones Sokolov, MD in Science and Doctorate, in the work. The work is called Achievement of Happiness. In page 33 says, it quotes like this: our body is composed of millions of cells. Each one of them is deathless. Each one of them is capable of living forever, outliving death. But composed as it is immortal cells, the organism as a whole is mortal. At the same time, each of these cells, any living cell, represents an electrical laboratory. The whole human organism is in fact as most complex electrical laboratory composed of millions of tiny microscope electrical stations. This is what Dr. Bones Sokolov, MD and Science Doctorate. Thus, we have seen that man represents an electromagnetic body emitting radiations of varying strength and quality, which has not been sufficiently studied, but the existence of which is definitely proved. This is before 50 years before. Another expert says it's quite natural that our body, in which innumerable electrical processes certainly take place, would radiate energy. This energy may now be tested and even measured. Chaitanya Argya Samaradhya Chaitanya Kusumapriya Sadodita Sadatushta Tarunaditya Patala. See, it has been quoted beautifully in the Bhaskaracharya's commentary on Lalita Sahasranama with the namas which I have uttered. As early as 1923, Professor Millikan declared, I think we can now say from experiments made in our laboratory in Germany that radioactivity is a general property of living matter and not a specific property of what we call the radioactive group. See, there is a difference. Then, again, let me quote, an expert says, it is quite natural that our body, in which innumerable electrical processes constantly take place, would radiate energy. This energy may now be tested, even measured. Continuing, the same thing had been said still earlier by Leon Denis, who pointed out that organs of the human body have radioactivity. It is a fact each of the organs, the liver, the heart, lungs, the brain, emits demonstrable radiation, some of which is visible as fluorescence of different tints. This radiating energy was closely studied by Professor Gunwist. He discovered that it was so strong that it could influence the growth of seed placed near the radiating issues. What the modern science is seeing now, our Maharshis had seen this with their Divya Drishti and have ordained to follow this natural law in a dharmic way. Is this not a challenge to the modern science? Let me repeat this sentence. What the modern science, even at this year, that is on Sunday, 29th May 2022, where 1863 Mahasanchika is going on, part 3 on this scientific analysis on the Hindu marriage. Let me quote this again. What the modern science is seeing now, our Maharshis had seen this with their Divya Drishti and have ordained to follow this natural law in a dharmic way. Is this not a challenge to the modern science? A question. Thus, the 5 elements in the bride and the bridegroom are brought together through electromagnetic activity, and this has a great and everlasting bearing on the mind. Therefore, the moon, who represents the 3 elements, that is water, air and sky, that is Akasha, is the first to influence the mind. Chandrama manaso jata chaksho suryo ajayata. Remember Purusha Sukta. So, the first to influence is the mind. Gandharva, who represents earth, influence the body. And finally, Agni, represent electric energy in the body, influences the desire, that is kama. Then only the human bodies of the bride and bridegroom are made to come together as wife and husband. What a wonderful psychological bearing this has. What a wonderful psychological bearing this has. After this first meeting or nirikshana, the other rituals follow. The girl, that is the bride, is given to the bridegroom by her parents as a gift. This is called Kanyadana. This is called Kanyadana. And this gift has to be taken care of by the bridegroom throughout his lifetime. There are certain promises and are oaths to be taken by the bridegroom at this time, that he will never go against dharma under any circumstances and follow the grihastha dharma as per the rules laid down by the ancients. From this moment, the couple are treated as Lakshmi Narayana, the Supreme Lord, and his spouse Lakshmi, for further rituals. For this, the bride and the bridegroom have to be sacred thread on each other's wrists. It is called Kankana Bandhana. So, with I just conclude. The signature tune was Malay Martha. Previous one was Bauli. So, morning ragas, we are just awakened with this scientific explanation 50 years back. Now, I leave it to my highly learned viewers to their ponder. Now, I conclude the part 3 on this scientific analysis, the Hindu marriage, and I will be back with some more important informations. Let us just throw a light on this dharmic subject with scientific approach. Thank you.